I wanted to look at how the Torah views motivation. There's a lot of literature in the secular world about what motivates a person to do something. And generally speaking, that gets broken down into extrinsic motivation, which means some sort of incentive, that the person will receive some sort of reward. Then there's intrinsic motivation, where the person finds some sort of meaning or purpose in what they do. Recently, they've added family motivation, that a person likes to be relied on and considered trustworthy. And so that motivates the person. There's a very interesting mitzvah that the Smag says is the first mitzvah of the Torah. And the words that he uses are as follows, very a brief little message, and that is a mitzvah harishona, is that there's a mitzvah asay laha'amin ki oso shenosan lanu es haTorah bahar Sinai al yidei Moshe Rabbeinu hu Hashem Elokeinu. That's the same Hashem shehotziyonu mimitzrayim. V'zehu ma she'amar b'sha shenosan es haTorah Anochi Hashem Elokecha lehech asher hotzeisicha Elokecha asher hotzeisicha mieretz Mitzrayim. What is the motivation that is built into this mitzvah? The mitzvah is essentially saying that a person who was about to accept the mitzvahs of the Torah needed to be given an incentive, a motivation, if you will. And the motivation is that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. So on a simple level, if you have something that is hard for you to do, but the person who needs it done is somebody for whom you are very grateful because they've done you a great kindness, then it'll be easier to do it. So if we wanted to summarize the motivation, it would be it's anything that makes it easier to do that which I need to do. So it makes it easier to do something that I need to do anyway, whether it's go through my day, whatever the challenges that might be there in my day or in my life. Motivation is that which makes it easier. So Hashem is announcing the motivation associated with receiving the Torah. And the motivation is that we have this relationship with Hashem where He took us out of Mitzrayim. And that directly connects Yitzias Mitzrayim with Matan Torah. That the underlying message is that you have to keep the Torah because Hashem gave us the Torah, but He wanted to make it easier for us, or perhaps to motivate us in a way that would not feel extrinsic, that would not feel as though there's simply reward or the absence of reward for fulfilling the Torah, but rather that it comes from something intrinsic, in this case, from gratitude. Now, there is a truth about motivation that nobody can sell their motivation to somebody else. What motivates one person will not necessarily motivate another person. Now, gratitude is something that's meant to be quite universal, so that everyone can be motivated by their gratitude, specifically their gratitude to Hashem, but it could be gratitude to anyone. That's a more universal idea. But what we need to be looking at is, unfortunately, it was Nietzsche who said, a person who has a why in his life to live can endure any how. If a person has a why, he can answer the question of what is it internally, of why is it that I am looking to do whatever it is that I'm doing. If he has a why, he can endure even the most difficult how. And if a person doesn't have a why, then every how becomes overwhelming. Maybe a person will pull through anyway, they'll push, they'll overcome the obstacles, but at a certain point, it needs to be coming from a profound sense and a personal sense of why. If you ask any soldier, they'll be able to tell you their why. And if they can't, they're not going to be a great soldier. And the same thing is going to be true for somebody who is studying, for somebody who is pursuing anything that might be difficult. Some of us need more, and I've noticed that there are some people who are just naturally motivated. They don't even need to think about it. They don't even need to connect the dots. And some people, when you talk to them about this kind of motivation of the why, they ask, okay, you tell me why I should take care of myself, or why I should move on with my life, or why, as if somehow somebody else is meant to provide the why because they can't come up with it themselves. So it's almost like there's two types of people in the world, those who are naturally motivated and those who have no idea what motivation is because everything is just a should. And the two don't meet because the ones with motivation just do it. And the ones without motivation are always shoulding. I should do it. I wish I was doing it. And I don't know if there's a gender factor here. My guess is that there is some gender factor, but I don't think it's an exclusively gender factor that differentiates between those who get it because their motivation is built in and those who don't get it because their motivation is so extrinsic that everything becomes a should. This is something that I should do, but not something that I am personally motivated to doing. So I just wanted to throw it out there as here's this first mitzvah that Hashem says, here's the Torah, and he introduces himself as he's about to give us the Torah. He introduces himself as the one who took us out of Mitzrayim. And there's meant to be a wired-in motivation that is based on gratitude. The Chovos HaLevavos discusses it at great length. But the idea that when a person is looking to do something, he should be asking himself, why should I do this? Not why externally, but what is it about that it speaks to me such that I would do this even if there was some difficulty associated with it because it's personally meaningful. So meaning becomes motivation. The meaning of something, what it means for me and how it speaks to me becomes the motivation for being able to do it. So this is really taking Frankel and the motivation people and bringing it back to this first mitzvah and saying, in what ways do we focus on our motivation? And unfortunately, it's not, we don't often think that the link between Yetzias Mitzrayim and Matan Torah is that we should feel motivated by the kindness that Hashem did of taking us out of Mitzrayim, to feel motivated to actualize and to live the guidelines of the Torah. So, as I said, at this point, I'm just throwing it out as food for thought, and I look forward to sharing further thoughts from you and with you as we go forward and think about our motivation. Have a great week.